All right, so Gaz, we are here today to basically go down memory lane and make a little tier list. We've been meaning to do this for a while, and make a little tier list of, I guess, the monsters we have witnessed along the way in our campaign, and kind of where we rank them, not based on how I guess good they are, but just how much they wreck us, or how problematic they are for us, or how easy they are, and maybe our thoughts on some of the monsters we have seen. And
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah. I think this is more of a how did we find fighting them rather than and what's our experience like, right? Like
yeah,
rather than what is the best monster or not the best monster, because obviously everyone's mileage may vary. But yeah, our experience in our kind of short 30, 35 scenario Frosthaven experience.
that's right. And like there will, like you said, some will be nothing, and they go into the GG easy, which is great because we want more of that there. But we're gonna have some that have wrecked us in the past. So we're gonna start off with the Abale Herder, and the Abale Herder we have only seen once, and we've seen that in scenario 14. Do you remember the Abale Herder?
Yep, he was the railgun guy.
He was the railgun guy. There was only three of them on the map. They weren't
Yep.
respawning, but they directly interact with piranha pigs.
Yeah, and so for those that weren't the four people we were playing the game with, and so didn't get that joke, in that scenario, they have an ability they can draw, which basically increases their range and damage based on how many piranha pigs are out. And so it came to the point where they could shoot across the whole map, and we're going to hit for like 10. So we were like, oh, great. So if they draw the railgun card, someone's just going to die. So it was kind of a oh these things are pretty much nothing. Oh wait, unless they draw that one really good card.
Yeah, yeah, because they directly interact with the piranha pigs, and we've
Yeah.
only seen them in that one scenario with maximum piranha pigs. So it'd be interesting to see them in another scenario, which means we're probably going to get piranha pigs, right? In that one. In fact, we're thinking of heading down Loca quest chain at some stage, so they're probably going to appear around then.
Yeah, you'd assume that they come up then more than once in one scenario that everyone hates, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking of putting them
Um.
in problematic.
Oh, really? Nah, I don't think so.
You
I
don't think
think
they're
they're
that
fine.
bad?
Nah,
Is that
they
because of?
like if we'd fought them in a normal scenario that we didn't hate, we would have been like, oh, that's fine. They're gonna summon a couple of pigs, like piranha pigs. They're gonna, their attacks even weren't that bad. They were like, make a piranha pig move and attack or do a wound or something like that. The only reason it was an issue was because we were not like literally not fighting anything.
Yeah. Okay. So annoying but fine.
Yeah, I think they're annoying because they summon stuff, but I think mostly they were fine.
Okay, good. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna open up Flip a Coin on my phone. For the times that we
Yep,
disagree and it's bordering, we're gonna flip a coin to determine where it
fantastic.
goes.
I love it. Yeah, let fate decide.
Yeah.
So do you agree annoying but fine, or you reckon they're problematic?
I think I'm just looking too deep into it, and I think that's probably a problem that I'm gonna have with quite a few things, is that I'm thinking of all the awesome scenarios where they could be, and I need to probably think about our experiences with them and not so much what they can do.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to bring up right now, right? Because there's going to be some monsters that can summon,
Hmm.
and everything that can summon could be like has the capacity to be problematic to Rexus, right?
Hmm.
Like every single one of them. But we can't just default rate everything that summons that in case they draw it heaps.
Yeah.
It's more of a, I guess, in a scenario where they don't just draw it all the time and it doesn't get out of control because that's going to be, wreck anybody. Kind of where do they land? So that's kind of how I'm seeing it.
Okay. Okay. Algox Archers.
Oh, they wreck us. They're the worst. They're so bad. That's the
Straight
most
to the top.
OP monster in Frosthaven. If the whole game was just them, then no one would get past like the second scenario.
No, that literally the last boss is going to be an Algox Archer.
One Algox Archer that's just got like 1,000 life,
Yeah,
and he's just gonna literally kill everybody.
these mobs are the ones that inspired me to make this list, just because I wanted to be able to just go straight to that.
I actually think that this list is invalid because there should be another tier, which is just Algox Archer that they sit in, and everything else sits in below them.
Right, just two lists: Algox
Well,
Archer and not
one
Algox
one
Archer.
one list above Wreckers, there should be Elgox Archer,
Or we
and
could,
that
yeah,
they
okay,
they sit in that one. They sit in that one. So,
okay, but
but no,
definitely,
ugh. I don't think we've fought them and they haven't been like, oh, that sucks.
No, we've never fought them, and they've been like, "Oh, that was quite easy." I think every single time they have some kind of impact, whether it's killing our allied priest, whether it's just clicked right because the allied priest that we had in scenario 2 is the snowflake. So the
Mm.
Algox Archer has booked me before, like the character.
Yeah, everything, booking everyone, and I don't want to get into this too much
No,
with these monsters, with the mechanics of what they do. But I
no,
remember when we talked to Dwarf, he actually we talked about them, and he said, yeah, they don't have a rest card,
no.
and I hadn't really thought about that in how monsters interact. But that's
Mm,
the thing. Basically, their rest card is like a low attack immobilize.
yeah,
So it's like the one that they're not going to hit you real hard, they
they got a
immobilize
low
you.
attack trap card as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but even that. Like I remember the bandits in Gloomhaven were like move and place a trap.
Mm,
These ones are like shoot you and place a trap.
yeah,
It's like what? Hang on.
yeah. They get the shoot, just shoot. They
uh,
never run out of ammo.
yeah. So
All right, we have Algox Guard. I'm probably going to fairly meh. I like fighting them. They're like damage sponges. I don't see too many situations. I mean, look, they have the ability to hurt. They have some hitting hard cards, but they're relatively slow movement. They're quite heavily featured as like frontline things to protect the backs. I don't find them too bad.
yeah, fairly meh. Or I mean, we haven't got a GG easy kind of baseline yet, so I'm not sure what falls into that, and I don't know what the rules are about moving things later. But yeah, I'd say fairly meh at this stage. Yeah, like.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good point about the GG easy. Maybe there may not be any. Um so they could be a good one to go into there.
I mean,
Now that I'm
they
having a quick
probably,
scan.
yeah, I guess they're probably one of the least uh kind of annoying, or when we look at it and we go, oh yeah, that's them, that's fine. We know what to expect. They're either going to move up and hit us, or they'll pull their shield retaliate on the turn that I play retaliate.
Mm, that's as bad as it really gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Algox Ice Speakers. It's
So
gotta
this
be up
is
here somewhere.
yeah, this changes, right? So if in scenario 10,
Yeah.
I would say meh. That was they other than us lining up for that big AoE,
That
like we cooked
one
him.
that one guy wrecked us. Like yeah, we won the scenario, but we won by the hair,
Mm.
right? Really, really very close. Um, in fact, you died and we had one round left, and some
Yeah.
of that could be attributed to this, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but even still, like he died pretty quickly, other than getting a few hits in. But then, if you compare it to the secret meeting one, where that one single one of these basically took on like all of the like he cleaved through, went on a tear. He was like MVP for
The
those.
Algox snow speakers are making a tier list as we speak, and this guy just went straight to the top.
Yeah, yeah. They're like police ban OP. Yeah, problematic is probably the thing, because they I mean, to actually bring some form of science to this in a sense, they brittle you all the time. They have decent attacks, and while their attacks might only say 3 or 4 when we're fighting them, that usually ends up being like 6 to 8, because you usually always brittle if
Yeah,
they're
they do the
going.
double.
Yeah, well, the double is brutal, right? Like that's heaps, and they go pretty early from what I remember. Like not super early, but they're not like going in at 80s where you go, oh, that's fine. We can kind of adjust to it. So.
No, and they have the stun as well.
Oh, yeah, that's gross. Yeah, anything with a stun is instantly problematic or higher.
Mm,
Like, yeah.
mm. I'll make it Algox Priest. So, look, like even from the beginning, no, it was really scenario 10 where they wrecked us the most. We haven't seen too many of them, but
No.
scenario 10 was enough to make me want to put them up somewhere between these two.
Well, I mean, they were problematic in what was the second scenario called? The second
Yeah,
one, or
yeah,
not called, but yeah, they were problematic in that because the guy got booked, like, and he was our win condition or loss condition.
but
So
he was an
even
Algox
it's
Priest.
pardon?
He was an Algox Priest.
That's what I mean. That
Oh,
he was the reason we lost, because he was
because
just
he went
too
too
shit at,
early.
at staying alive. Yeah. I look again. I'd say at least problematic because they have the disarm, the immobilize, the heals, like they are just a pain in the ass.
I agree with you. I would go as far to say I find them more problematic than the Ice Speaker.
Oh, is left to right as well
Yeah,
important?
yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
He's
I would say
high,
that.
high
Yeah,
problematic.
yeah. If they're yeah, exactly. If they're causing problems, I think they cause more problems than the ice speakers. It's funny though, right? Because this is where things are going to differ. The shamans, or what are they called?
Algos
What are we going to call
priests.
the priests? They're problematic because almost of their support and debuffs, whereas at the eye speakers are problematic because they just wreck you,
Mm.
right? So they're kind of problematic for different reasons. But I'd agree. Yeah, they're the
As a
priestess ahead.
combo, they go up here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially if they go really early.
Yeah, go really early, immobilize. This guy comes in, whack, whack, dead.
Yeah.
Algox scouts. I honestly, because I'm thinking of the wagon scenario. Even though we had them again in scenario 2, it's the wagon one that really reminds me of these. Um, I didn't find them as problematic as those two. But like probably more so like a tier 3 kind of thing, in that they have innate impair, and they do have a lot of, which really pissed me off. Because I had one next to me the whole time as the snowflake, and I couldn't seem to get rid of it back then. And they're doing a lot of ranged attacks, but also have some really high movement abilities as well. So they can kind of close the gap and get in your face, start impairing you. But nothing really stood out as being something that was really amazing. They just had the ability to be annoying.
I go on. Sorry.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I go on the basis that until you said they impair, I couldn't remember anything that they did. So
Yeah, they are a little bit
uh,
unremarkable compared to the others.
yeah, I'd say fairly meh for me. That's where I reckon I land.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
I mean, other than the impair, which is funny because when we first saw impair as a status effect, we're like, oh, lol, that's so. Who cares about impair? And then when it comes up, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm impaired. This is so annoying. But now that we're outside of the game and not being impaired, I'm like, impair isn't that bad.
No, no.
So, but look,
Do you want to go
I'd
fairly
be
meh?
happy with annoying, but fine.
I
I
want to
just
go
think
low
that,
tier annoying, but fine.
yeah, yeah, they're annoying, but I reckon borderline meh.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we can flip this. I'm gonna make you're always heads and I'm always tails.
Okay,
Uh oh, the Google thing takes a while. Tails. All right, cool. We're sticking it at annoying, but fine. But towards the
there
end,
you go, done.
Algox snow speakers. This looks like the last of the Algox from this list. Um, yeah. Do you remember much about these? I know they do a lot of pushing and pulling, and they also have a lot of true damage. So everything within range 2 takes damage as well as pulling and all of that.
The worst experience I think we had with these was with the Protect the Pillars one, where
Yes.
at the start they pulled the do 2 damage or 3 damage to everything around them,
Mm,
and we're like, and that like kind of hit 2 pillars, and we're like, oh, okay, if they draw that in a couple of times, we're like the scenario is toast, right?
mm.
But other than that, I don't know. They seem just fine. Like I don't know. I've never seen them on the map and gone like, oh crap. Like okay, that's a priority target because there's usually other things that are more annoying or more priority. So
As someone who has to experience them in the solo scenario, I find them slightly more annoying than you, but I'm not
okay.
counting for that. So
Oh, you know, it's all
I'm
part
slightly
of it,
more
right?
biased
Like
for that.
we, we've only had them in a couple of scenarios, so if you've seen them a bit more, I'd be
I've seen
more
them
than
in
happy
one
to bump
more.
them up.
No, I'm actually I agree with you. Other than a couple of their cards are not catastrophic. They're just like and these are cards also you know that they have in their deck. So it's not just oh we know that they have a move plus attack 5, which you can work around in a way. This one is just bring everyone in and damage. I think, well that could be Shriek Fiends actually. But
Yeah, that's true.
they definitely do. And if everything within range 3 takes 2 damage, and when you have multiple of these, like we had in the pylon one. Other than that, no, there's nothing really about them
The one
that makes me that worried.
the one caveat I'll make to argue against myself is that they do push a lot, I think,
Yeah.
and that can be really annoying, right? Like, we found that in that scenario we did where everything pushed you one.
Mm.
So I feel like if you had a few of these in a scenario where you didn't really want to be pushed around, and that's what they would put you in, that could become really annoying. But I think by themselves, though, they're not that bad.
No. So fairly meh.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right. Alcox represent. They're in everything. Every tier. All right. Ancient artillery.
um, I always think these things are like fairly met to GG easy, and then they pull every card and they just absolutely wreck us.
I just think every time we've seen them, we've always been able to deal with them. Like we always respond really well to them to the point where they're not a problem.
So I'm probably drawing on more experience from Gloomhaven than in Frosthaven, because I think the only missions we've seen them in so far have been like the elevator one, and maybe they were in one more.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember, right?
Yeah. So uh, I think the thing with these is that while they can be pretty bad, because I think they have range like 6 all up usually with most of their abilities, so they're usually going to hit you most of the time. Sometimes they're hitting two targets and they can do immobilize and crap like that. But because they're stationary, they're actually okay to work around.
Mm.
Like, I wouldn't say they're GG easy, because they definitely they become a priority, and even sometimes burning them is hard because they do their stupid one where they push everything away or damage things and everything next to them. But
Mm.
I definitely say that they're probably annoying but fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah, if they're on the board, we always have to account for them. That's the kind of where I land on it.
Definitely. It definitely changes the way we plan it. I'm more midway. I'm thinking fairly meh. Um. So I'm gonna flip a coin.
Yeah, flip it up. Yeah.
Heads. Do you find
All right.
them like less than Algox Scouts?
Well, I couldn't remember anything about Algot Scouts, so I'd say Algot Scouts are lower. So
Okay.
yeah, it's in the middle. Yeah, yeah,
All
there we
right.
go.
Done. Done. All right. Black Imps. Again, we've only seen one instance of them in, now they're from Gloomhaven, but one instance from them in Frosthaven. And we had Bone Shaper, Bone Army sort of dealing with them the whole time. These are the ones that have innate poison, and I believe they use the Imp deck. Are these the easiest of the Imp family?
Uh, or so I'm. The problem is that I have bad memories of these in Gloomhaven, and multiple scenarios in which they were just
That's
like a
see,
nightmare.
that's hard because we're
Yeah, I
obviously
know,
doing the Frosthaven thing.
I know.
Can you separate it? I don't think you can.
Oh, look, I can, because if I guess to answer your question, are these the least bad of the imps? Yeah. So
Mm.
what are we? The imp family is the snow imps, the fairy imps, and the poison imps.
Yeah.
I probably just did. I just mess up all three of the names, or
No,
did I get
you
one?
got snow imps, and then the forest imps. Now
Forest.
the
That's it.
black
Yeah,
imps.
black imps. Yeah, yeah, cool,
Mhm.
cool. All right, 1 out of 3 is good. Yeah, look, they have been fine, I guess, but they haven't. We haven't had to fight them in overwhelming numbers.
No.
Uh, where we when we had them, we dealt with them,
Mm.
and um, yeah. So yeah, look, they're probably the easiest of the three. Um, oh, I don't know if they're that easy.
So far they have been.
Yeah, true, true. Um, I suppose just by default though, the imps all are kind of annoying.
Oh yeah, but it's not. Yeah, GG easy, but slightly annoying.
Yeah, that's it pretty much. Look, I will make a case that I think they're probably a bit higher in fairly mess. So do you want to flip
Yep.
it, or are
Yep.
you
Yep.
just you can, are you solid that GG easy is where it's at? Like, is that
Tails.
fair?
Yeah, I'm sold. Black Imps.
Yep.
Look, this is obviously a list that will change over time. So we're probably a quarter or a third of the way through. So we can do another one when we feel like we're about 2/3 through. This can change. We can reference this and just see with ease go all the way up here, right?
I feel like this is a process and a task in jinxing us.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like over the next few weeks we're gonna fight Black Imps and Algoth Guards, and we're gonna be like, oh no, oh they've just single-handedly just wrecked our scenario, and
Yeah,
yep.
that's gonna be
So
super exciting.
yep, we can come back to this.
Um, I Burrowing Blade.
Oh, do you want to do the three imps, or is there a
Yeah, we
reason that
can.
these are in the
No, we can do it with 3 imps. All right, well let's go with the forest imps.
forest imps? Okay. Um.
So they're the cursed ones.
Yeah. Look,
We've
when
only
all the
experienced these
curses
ones
go
as well.
to Mark and then he never draws them, they're easy.
It's true. Like I find these more annoying than these, but I've only had them once, just like black imps. And in the scenario that black imps were involved, Mark dealt with them to the point where I was like, "Ugh, I guess they're
Mm.
whatever. And these guys are way more annoying. But on paper, I feel like these guys are probably even worse than these.
Were they less than? I just a question about this. So black imps don't fly, do they?
I think all the imps do.
Do they? They don't look like they fly in that picture.
Oh, well, not in the picture. No, we'll have to double check actually.
Yeah, okay. Because I was just wondering if you found the forest imps to be more annoying because they were flying, and we've established that anything that flies
Is
instantly
annoying.
is like annoying for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'll agree. I think having heaps of curses in your deck is a pain in the ass, and uh, while poison can kind of be mitigated. Like the black imps can wreck you, I think, if you get really bad combinations. And again, that's more Gloomhaven knowledge, but the having keeps of curses can just mess your turns up.
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
Like
I agree with you.
yeah, you can kind of do things to stop the poison really being that bad, but and it's only one extra damage, so that kind of comes down to a bit of RNG. But the curses, if you get too many of those, and you're just like, oh, I guess I can't do anything because everything I do misses. So
Where are
yeah,
we putting them?
look, I'd say fairly meh.
Fairly mere?
Yeah, that
Okay.
yeah. I think based on our experience, anyway.
Yeah. Snow imps.
Oh, I feel like we've been removed from these. If you'd asked us 10 scenarios ago, I reckon we would have had
They'd be
like them
chilling
up
up there with the
with the archers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, pre-nerf, because before they got nerfed, they had it brittle like on them, right? And then they got nerfed like overnight. And now they've made it like because they're like, oh, having really brittle imps was a little bit easy. So we listened to the community and we've actually made it so that they do brittle. And we were like, oh, interesting change. It's bold. And then yeah, they became a bit harder to deal with.
Yeah, anyone curious about what crap we're talking about now, go listen to like it's episode 4 or 5 where when we first encountered them, we thought they had permanent brittle, not that they gave brittle.
Mm.
So these were like lol easy, this is great.
Hmm.
But I would say annoying but fine. Honestly, I
Oh,
don't think they're that bad. We
I'm going
had
with problematic with these.
really
Yeah.
why? They just brittle you.
I guess it's just the combo, right? It's just knowing whatever they combo with, even if there's groups of them, we know that imps multi attacks. All of a sudden, those multi attacks, a damage one multi attack with poison, because they all have that in their deck, right? As a card. But
Yeah.
also innate brittle on top of that. And if you've got 3 imps targeting the one person, that person gets booked. That's
I,
my only thought process is like if you have a swarm of fairies, yeah, a bunch of curses, but a swarm of these guys with the brittle and the poison potentially, because
yeah.
we got a taste of that on the scenario. I think it was 13, when you were in that last room and they were pulling the strength and muddles and they were pulling the shield heal and they weren't really doing it. And then they pulled this and I was like, oh jeez, like, that's a bit rough. Good thing we didn't have a lot of them still alive when they pulled that.
Yeah, look, I think that it's a little bit based on the fact that we've seen these heaps more and that we saw them in situations that they were a pain in the ass. But in saying that, based on our playthrough, yeah, I'd be happy to put them in problematic,
How about we
right?
put them at the
Like,
top end of annoying but fine?
yeah, all right. I'm happy with either that or problematic. Like, I can see your point, and I mean, we can only go by our playthrough.
Yes.
So and then in our playthrough, they have been yeah, annoying but fine sometimes. Like, we saw them in what 2 weeks ago and they were fine,
Yeah.
right? But you're right, when we've seen them in greater numbers, like Tuscan Raiders,
Yeah.
they are troublesome. So yeah.
Um, Burrowing Blades.
Oh, I love Beyblades.
My gut is already problematic. I know that we had a scenario recently, well, not recently, a few months ago, where they made an appearance and we hadn't seen them in a while, right? And we kind of just wrecked them because they're low health, but they have fairly high shield for memory. They obviously move around and put curses in your deck, wounds everywhere, all that kind of stuff. But also, we had the Drifter back then who had really strong Pierce, and he was able to just book them really quite quickly. I remember feeling really confident when I saw them, like, just let me crush these guys. I think without, like, our current group makeup with a couple of these, I don't know. I just find that they still have their potential to be incredibly problematic.
So I think this is a really good example of a monster that uh, changes the way you play and instills fear in you by not drawing a card, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we know they've got a couple of cards, and we're always like, but you got to watch out for the Beyblades. You got to
Mm.
watch out. They're going to jump. They're going to, oh, it's almost like they're going to do it this turn. No, they didn't. And I feel like most of their other cards, while have been damaged and done things, aren't really that scary. And even their Beyblade one isn't that bad, but it's like the anticipation of it coming up is
Yeah.
like, and that's what I think just makes them, it just puts us at a higher heightened state of awareness. We're like, oh, we've got to watch out, we've got to deal with them, they've got to be target number one. Where I don't think they're that bad.
Mm.
But they do have the ability to have big turns, right? And we saw that in a couple of scenarios where they, like, we lined up perfectly and they're like, oh, we're just going to Beyblade across the whole thing. Does everyone want wounds?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, let's go. So yeah, I'd say they can be problematic because they definitely change the way we play. And you're right, like, we had the answer to them a bit, so I'd be very interested to see how we deal with them now.
Mm. Yeah. Like,
I mean, they're not flying
very
though, so
interesting.
the
They're
thing is,
not.
high shield's not flying. Think between you two, you and Phil, and now coming into it with Mark, probably we'll be able to deal with them a bit better. But yeah, it'd be interesting.
It's interesting also because we now have had a group shuffle up. I don't want to spend too much time on this one, but we have a group shuffle up and Mark is we don't have the heavy hitting bone horde anymore. So you've got everyone's positional and everyone's doing somewhat okay damage, but these guys have high shield. We've got ways of dealing with it through pure damage, but it's not like 6 pure damage. It's usually like, 2 from hazardous and, traps and all that kind of stuff. So right now with our new party, I think these guys are, potentially wreck us. But if you had a bone horde running around clipping them over the ear for 9 a go, it may not be seen as bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. So yeah, look, I'm happy with problematic. Look, having wounds on everything and making us change what we do is a pain in the ass. So I think that's enough to be at the bottom of problematic.
Yep. Now, Chaos Demons.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, look, when I saw these were something that I believe we have encountered. I just don't remember when, and I don't remember what they do.
Chaos demons. Oh, I think I. Oh, hang on. No, that was Shriek Fiends. I do think we have fought one. Why do I think we have fought
Was it a
one? In what?
boss? Like a mini boss?
I don't think so. I feel like there was one in a room or two in a room, and that's it. But I
Maybe.
can't remember what quest it would have been, unless it was a side scenario. But
You might be thinking of Living Dooms, which are these ones over here.
yeah, I am. So Chaos Demons.
And
Are
these
you
ones
sure
are
we fought them?
I'm not 100% sure we fought them. I feel like we have. I don't know what I was using to select my criteria. But in the meantime, we will put them in the bottom of easy right now.
Yeah, they're so easy.
We
Like
don't
the
even
easiest.
remember them.
Yeah, so easy. We didn't. I think it's still fun to tier list things we have no idea about, right? Let's say Chaos Demons sound like they will be annoying but fine.
Like, but not as like annoying, but fine as scouts.
No, a bit more annoying but fine. The Scouts will be still worse.
Oh, scouts are still the worst of annoying,
Yeah,
but
still the worst. Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Earth Demon.
Look, I really like fighting Earth Demons because they're big and squishy, and you just get to punch
Ah,
into them. They
I,
haven't got shields.
I
They
know.
immobilize people that eat grass, but nobody cares about grass anyway.
When I think these, I think these.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. GG easy. Yeah. They're a really good staple. And again, I think we said this at the start. To be super clear with everyone, we're not saying that like these mobs don't do anything and they're boring or whatever. They're fine to fight. They don't cause us that many problems. We
It's
don't have to really look out for them.
no, no.
It's just kind of like you deal with them as you deal with them. They've got 20 something health, which is something to work through, but
That's
you
what
just kind of
that's what's
like
fun
whatever.
about them. I find is that they're just giant damage sponges, so you can go, let's see how hard I can hit this one, and you kind of get
Yeah.
your big stuff out, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not worried too much about it. Flame demons. So these are the ones with I think high shield and retaliate. I think they got
Yeah.
2 or 3 shield and retaliate, and but they're fairly squish
Yeah, so
and flying.
I think our encounters with these so far have been really easy because
Mm,
you managed to punt them over the other side of the room and just CC them.
mm.
I again bringing in Gloomhaven knowledge, these can be a pain in the ass,
I can see that
right?
in a
Because
smaller room they could be, because I remember the one in that same scenario where I was punting them. There was that one that was locked in the corner just hitting Phil, but he kept getting these massive different AoE patterns, but it was only
yeah,
ever hitting Phil.
yeah, and because they have like I think the elites have like 4 shield and like retaliate like 2 or 3.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it becomes again you either can deal with them or you can't.
Mm.
Right? Like, can you get through? And because they fly, that gets rid of the. So, look, based on our experience, they're probably fairly meh. But I'd say that overall, like, kind of knowing what they can do, they're probably somewhere between. I don't know. This is a tricky one. I might,
Yeah,
I
okay.
might defer to you.
Um, Maybe we'll look at them at the moment in comparison to some of the demons. I think this is what makes tier lists very hard, right? Is that it's like defining exactly what we're doing, and sometimes that can change depending on the creature, because
Mm,
their potential is we've seen is quite nuts. It's just our experience so far has been, I think, one scenario,
mm.
and like you said, it was kind of lackluster. So maybe we do give them a little bit of respect and we go into annoying but fine.
Actually, that's probably a good point. Yeah, annoying but fine. I'm comfortable with because they were annoying, but we had a way of dealing with them.
Mm,
If we fought them again, they will be annoying. And they're really annoying unless you have a way of dealing with them, and
mm.
then they're fine, right? Because it's like, well, okay, I can just, get through your shields and you don't have much life, and therefore the retaliate doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
yeah,
we'll throw him there between snow imps and herders.
yeah, sounds good.
All
Do you want to do
right.
all the demons now?
Sure, we'll go Frost Demon. Frost Demons have
Uh,
Retaliate. They don't have Shield. They have Retaliate. They do Immobilize. They've got some sweet AoEs. I don't know about Brittle. Personally, I like these because they make ice. But yeah.
uh, GG, easy.
Ooh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
I
No,
can't
I
think of a
actually agree with you.
time where I've seen ice demons and been like, oh no, ice
In
demons.
isolation, I think you're right. Frost, what do you call it? Scenario 21 with the Frost Prince. They were in that first room and you retaliated the crap out of them.
Mm.
They haven't been too problematic. There were 3 in the last room as well, which we dispatched quite easily. So I agree. They're fine. My bias is kicking in slightly because they, along with them, are in my solo scenario.
Yeah,
And that was the only reason I found them slightly more annoying. Um,
yeah.
Flayed Blame Spinner, what?
No, no,
Whatever
no. We
is
got to
it?
do the other demons. You got
Oh,
light
that's right.
demons and dark demons.
That's right. That's right. Where are we at? Where are we at? We got Night Demon.
So night demons,
We have not
I
seen.
or have we?
No, I don't think we have. Phil's seen them in his solo scenario. I don't think we have. I put them in here
Mm,
anyway. Maybe I'll put them
okay.
in here because we've seen them in Gloomhaven. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I've owned. Yeah, I guess that's right. Like, if they're the same as in Gloomhaven, or they can be your pain in the ass.
Mm. In the solo scenario, I saw their cards. Like it's similar to. I think they're almost maybe exactly the same. They still make it arc. They still go invisible. They still have fairly high hitting and high movement.
And they
Uh,
go really early. Like they're almost always first.
that's
And
you get disadvantage against them.
Yeah, and you get disadvantaged. Like these things are problematic. Like they're hard to deal with regardless of your tools, I've found.
Yeah,
But then again, that's purely on Gloomhaven. So I don't know if we want to just go with what you saw in the solo scenario and how they were.
oh well, Phil was playing a Deathwalker, so like, yeah, he had
Everything died.
disadvantage, but what did that mean? He pulled 2 green cards, right?
Yeah.
So, um, I'm happy to put them at the lower end of problematic. Let's just do that.
Yep. Okay. And light
Um,
demons.
Light demons. We've had these recently, quite a few times. They have
Yep.
advantage. They have shields. They make light. Uh, and yeah, they have some ranged attacks. They have some melee. They have some AoE. They do that thing that they attack everything in range around them. Like, the advantage thing's definitely potentially problematic because, I mean, you've tanked heaps of them. You just, the time you did it, you were willing to because you popped up so much shield and so much retaliate, right? Other than that, if any
Yeah.
of us were in those shoes, I think we'd get
They're not
fairly
they're not
booked.
very scary when they're hitting you for nothing and taking 5 damage back, right?
No.
Yeah, I'd say annoying but fine. Like
Would you
probably
rather
up.
fighting these or flames?
Ooh, probably those because I think flame demons again, it's an answers. If you can't get through 4 shields, you just can't kill flame demons.
Mm.
With these though, I think they have 1 or 2 shields, so they still have shields, but theirs is more of a problem that you're probably gonna take a bunch of damage,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that's where that becomes tricky. So, but they're probably closer to flame demons than things like the railgun dudes. But yeah,
Yeah, I like that. They look
okay.
sort of work well together. Wind demon.
What are they? Wind demons?
Yeah, these ones.
Do we have anything below GG Easy?
Oh no. Okay, so these guys also have shield.
Do they?
I think so.
Are these the ones
I
that
don't
zipped
remember.
past you in that
Yeah,
scenario? Yeah, okay, okay. Have we seen them outside of that?
I have. They are also in my solo scenario.
Oh God, do you just have all the demons in your
I have
scenario?
3 creatures in my solo scenario, and
Okay.
that's one of them. And I find them very annoying in the solo scenario because they also can go invisible. Um,
Do they go invisible too?
yeah, they did in my thing.
Wow, that sounds really annoying.
Now I'm doubting myself. Did they actually go invisible, or did I just fail to kill it? There was one running around on 2 health that I just could not kill, and it was doing my head in. I think it might have been because of the shield as well. But yeah, no, Wind Demons, look, I'm not a massive fan of. I think they're gross. I'm not willing to put them in GG easy. I'm sorry. They may be fairly meh. Because their
Yeah,
skill
yeah.
set is fairly meh, but they are fast. Their abilities are very fast and they move really quickly. And they're flying,
Okay.
which is a problem for me. Uh
I'm happy to let you pick this one considering I can't remember them at all. I didn't even know they were in the game. And so yeah, I'm happy to, let you pick.
All right, let's go Flaming Blade Spinners. Is that what they're called? Flaming Blade
Yeah, the
Spinner.
Beyblades.
Hot Blade Blades. Now, Retaliate 3, ranged Retaliate, I believe. And then they spin around and do a bunch of shit. Do
Look,
they go with Burrowing
honestly,
Blades?
pardon?
Do they kind of go in the same category as Burrowing Blades?
I feel like when they've been in our scenarios, they've been way less like annoying.
Hmm.
I don't know
Okay.
why. I don't know if we just dealt with them if there was less of them. So I'd say bottom of annoying but fine, if not fairly meh.
Would you put them above Snow Speakers? We've only seen these
Uh,
twice.
pardon?
We've only seen them twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Yeah. Frozen Corpse.
Oh, these are GG. Like these don't do anything other than immobilize you in that one scenario when we didn't want to get immobilized, right?
I would put them higher than Bogards. Because they do have the ability to brittle you. Which sometimes can be horrendous when they're at the
The thing
front.
is, they don't, most of the time, or not most of the time, they also have cards that they don't attack.
Yeah.
So they have lots of rest cards, and then even their attacks don't seem to be that good.
They're
So
very
yeah,
low.
yeah, I'm happy with that.
There's one scenario where these had push, remember? And then they became problematic. Like for Mark anyway. They were doing that AoE pyramid thing. And
Oh, is that them?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay. I can see that. Yep.
But that was only because the scenario effects was like, you know, all monsters do push one plus one.
Oh, that's right. Yep, yep.
Harrowing and Festers.
Rexus.
I'm not even
Oh,
going to question it. I've only played the one scenario and we couldn't even kill one. So
no, no. I would put these above archers. No, 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 no. I will keep archers at the top
oh,
because
okay.
that's the joke. But harrowers have got to be one of the hardest things in the game.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, like again, if you just use our experience, we spent like 4 turns trying to kill one of them. And we just couldn't.
No.
They heal, they've got retaliate, they do heaps of damage, they curse, they do AoE attacks. They're just so nasty.
Mm. No, I've seen them once and it was enough. Like we to this day we haven't killed one. Let's just put it that way.
No, that's it, yeah.
Hounds. This one's a tough one.
Wolves?
No, don't do that. Where are they going?
Annoying but fine.
Ooh, that high. Okay. How high in there? I'm letting you run with this one.
Like they're just damage, right? Like
They
but
are
they
just
they go
damage.
they go really early. They do have an immobilize, I think, and they do that have that pack one. So I guess from the annoying piece is just they can book you, right? Like they can just go, we're all gonna go early and we're gonna hit you. So again, like Tuscan Raiders, in greater numbers they can
In
be
greater
really dangerous.
numbers.
One by itself is just nothing. Like that's just like, oh yeah, they've got retaliate, but whatever. But when there's 2 or 3 of them and they
Mm,
all go really early, they can just swarm on someone, just like wreck you.
yeah. And with the allies thing. Yeah, yeah, no. I rate it. Ice race.
I love these.
I
I think they're
know this
so
isn't how much
cool.
you
The
love
design.
these.
Pardon?
This isn't a tier list of how much you love them.
Um, the only the only card I see that makes these problematic is the invisible one, and I don't think that's enough to make them problematic.
That's a really fair call. Like they have
Like
the I feel their skill set and all that is so interesting that it seems scary until you're fighting them and then you're like, oh, it's not too bad. I will say though, the switching between retaliate and the shield can potentially also add to that. Because you may be planning for something and then although it's a late card that allows them to switch, but it means you have to constantly change up your game style, right?
yeah, I that switcheroo one is what makes them really cool, and you're right, it's what makes them annoying. And I think when we first encountered them, we did see that happen like on 1 or 2 of the turns where
Mm.
we were focusing something and then it switched and we're like, oh, wait, okay, hang on, now it's retaliating and we don't want that, or
Yeah.
something, or the
And
other
then it
way
was like
around, or it had
hit the
shields and we
other
can't
ones
kill it.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we got it down to 1 life. And we're like, oh, great, now it's got 2 shields. That's
Mm.
annoying. So yeah, definitely annoying. But I don't see them being like overly problematic.
No, we'll go low annoying. Put them there.
I like how Chaos Demons are still above them, even though we have no idea what they do.
Lightning eels.
Oh, these are GG easy. Like the
Okay.
only reason we have bad memories of these is scenario 14. And to a lesser degree, is it 21, 22?
22.
22. Like you saw them in my solo scenario.
Yes. Or they don't like retaliate. They don't have a card that allows them to ignore retaliate.
I mean, they've got either like what 3 or 4 health, depending on whether they're normal or elite or something
Yeah.
like that. Like they're really not an issue. As long as they avoid the light, right? Like
Mm.
they're fine.
Yeah. The early stun. Living Bones. Old classic.
Um,
I'm thinking fairly meh.
yeah, probably fairly
They're
meh.
not easy, but there are times, especially with their multi attack and all of that, that they do pose a potential problem. But nowhere near as much as some of the others.
Yeah, they're pretty consistent, and it's actually really interesting because I think compared to like a parallel with the Bone Shaper and when Mark was running his Skeleton Army, it was like this consistent, like a lot of damage.
Mm,
And that's kind of what they do. Like these are usually like they're usually hitting 1 person, but sometimes can maneuver to hit 2. So it's just this constant damage that comes out. So you do have to deal with it. You can't leave them alone. And then they do have a couple of those attacks that are really big.
mm.
So
That's
with the
true.
shields as well, you can't burn them that quickly. So yeah,
No.
I think that's about right.
Yeah. No, I like that. Living Doom. And like you said, you've seen these before, but I really don't remember what they do. I do think that they have a Bane card, or if they eat the dark or something. I remember they were being the first monsters that introduced Bane to us, and that was also the first scenario where Phil also learned Bane and baned one of them, I think. But other than
I
that, I
have
don't really
no
remember what
idea
they
when.
do.
Yeah, I have no idea when we fought them. So I'm happy to put them wherever you are happy to put them.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Right now, you've yet to prove yourself in our memory, in our short term
Yeah.
memory. Living Spirits.
Oh, we forgot about. Oh, they're not demons; they're spirits.
Yes.
Oh, what do these do? These got again high shield.
High shield. I think some cursing. They're there with Living Bones in terms of their originality, right? They're original. They're OG monsters. But
That's
they're
right. These are
not.
like these are like the demons, but they're the curse ones. Yeah. So they're
Mm.
like you said, okay.
The only
I
reason I
mean,
didn't
yeah.
care about these is the only time I saw them I was on the Drifter. So they have low health, and then the
Mm.
Drifter was piercing. So I didn't really care. I just saw these as food.
Yeah, I think they're either fairly meh or yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably that looks about right.
Yeah, I'd put them after these guys. These guys still upset me slightly. Oh, Crabland.
Oh, the four crabs that all look the same.
All right. So this one here is the Claw Crusher.
That's the
So
big tanky one, isn't it?
big
That's like
tanky one.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big tanky one. Breaks armor, shields up, all that kind of stuff.
No, they're meh.
They are meh. I don't think there's been a scenario. There was only one 22 that I can. Oh, well, there were earlier, but in both scenarios, they were kind of like, oh, we just got to destroy this barricade essentially, and then proceed, right?
Yeah.
Where would you like these?
Look, mm, I don't know. Like, yeah, fine.
Yeah, we'll do that. We have Mine Snippers.
Which
So
ones are these?
local Mine Snippers are, the believe, are the
Oh.
ranged sort of stabby ones. Um, the final boss in the Coral scenario.
Again, we've only had these in one scenario, I'm pretty sure, and they were fairly meh.
This is one of uh no no. This is one of the crabs, or one of the monster types, and there's a few here that I think after we do this again in a couple months' time will change. I think they'll move
Yeah, true.
once we become a little bit more familiar and remember what they do. But it's been so long since we've gone that way. Because we've done so much Algox recently, these are very fresh in our mind. This is the Lurker Soldier. So I believe this is your baseline, very first mob. We fought these alongside the Claw Crushers. They were that memorable.
Wow. Yeah.
I honestly,
Probably even lower.
yeah, probably. They're
Below the
probably the
Algox.
crab version of these two, right?
Yeah, below the Algox guard.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll put Earth Demon. And then we have the Lurker Wave Thrower.
Nah, I don't think they're that bad. Yeah, probably.
Top of problematic. Look, they have
Well,
they have innate immobilize, right? Like everything
again,
everything they do is immobilize.
this is they're not just there because they can summon water and the eels, but you're right, with immobilize and a couple other things, they can be quite problematic.
Especially when there's 6 of them.
This is correct. When there's six of them and your lose condition is for them to not create water, then yes, they become very, very problematic. But I'm happy with that.
Alright. Oozes.
Look, these are another one, right? Like we've only fought them once or twice.
They're
Once,
meant to be scary. They're meant to put the fear in me because of Gloomhaven.
yeah. But
And
these are one of the no, but these are one of the ones that was kept in check in Gloomhaven because they damage themselves. So we talked about this when we were talking about summons, right? Oozes could never they could get out of control, but they could never just completely go, oh, they drew that too many times and now it's GG. They still have to attack you to do it, and that's where they get you. split a bunch of times, and then they get their attack 2 poison 1, and then you just get wrecked. But then at that stage, they're also really low.
Mm.
So I feel like these are probably at the very top of annoying but fine. Like they're the definition of it, right? Like
Yeah.
I suppose they can be problematic if they get out of control, but they're also you can deal with them.
Yeah. I love that.
So
They're the definition of annoying but fine. We should just change that tier to ooze.
yeah, pretty much.
Piranha pigs, which went hand in hand with the bell herders. We've had lots of them before. I think they hit fairly hard, and they also had that thing that similar to the hounds, you know, the adjacency bonus from
Yeah.
and they jumped. But
And
other
they
than
wounded
that,
as well, I think.
oh, that was it. If you have a wound on you, you add +1 or +2.
That's right, yeah. Look, these were annoying, but again, it's hard to judge them because we were fighting him in a scenario that was just such a pain in the ass. Like, it didn't matter what was there. Like, you could have replaced them with any other creature in that scenario would have been just as annoying.
Mm.
So it's hard to get a read on them.
It's hard not because they power level. They summon these, and get power for the more powerful because of these. It's hard to separate them in a way. It's a weird kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I think based on our limited interactions with them, they're probably both there.
Yep. All right.
Polar bears, yeah. When you're trying to do a battle goal, specific battle goal, they are tier A tier, S tier, sorry.
Yeah. Look. Uh, early immobilize. They can kind of hit hard. They can be punted into 2 traps. Um, like I don't know. I don't know where polar bears would go. To be completely honest, they'd have to
They,
be on the lower side of things.
yeah, I think they're fairly meh. Like they can do some damage, but again, they're a big squishy thing that really, other than doing a bunch of damage, it's not really that hard to deal with. They're kind of easy to play around,
Mm,
and I think they're pretty slow. Anything that's pretty slow is usually okay to manage because you can maneuver around, and especially
mm.
if it doesn't move that far. So, yeah.
Rending Drake. Only seen one lot of these. I know they were in Gloomhaven, but
Mm.
from what I can see, they look pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I think even just from our one playthrough, we could see that they pulled a few cards that if we were in the wrong position, they could be a big issue. Yeah, they just do so much damage.
So
Like
much.
they're probably the only thing on that, or along with the ice speaker, that's on that problematic thing because their just damage output is ridiculous.
Mm, mm. No, I like that. Um,
Do you want to do the other spitting drake before we get into
sure.
the robots?
Yep. Spinning Drake.
Uh, by default, they problematic because they have a stun.
They do. I was like, what do these guys do again? I know they spit, so they do poison spitting and stunning. Yeah, 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 and of course flying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we made the rule or kind of thing of like not problematic by default because they summon, but anything with a stun, they fly, they get around, they AoE, like that's pretty gross.
Mm,
They could be in annoying but fine because I guess again in small numbers they're pretty easy to deal with, but I'm happy with them either there or high annoying.
just having a stun that doesn't have an element infusion requirement probably elevates them. Um, because we don't have to. Unlike when the lightning eels are up, we know we don't want light, right? So we try our hardest to make sure that they can't use that. These guys, you can't control that.
And it's ranged
Yeah.
as
Oh
well.
yeah.
So they're flying it, so you can't get away from them. Like they're like it's like move 3 like, range 2 or 3 stun. Like it's gross.
Runic bolt shooters. I put these in meh. I said the meh blasters, remember? So I didn't really care about these. You seem to think that they were a little bit more than that.
No, no, no. I only remember these because they were the last robot I needed on my battle goal.
Mm.
So
They
no,
do
no, they
they
were
do
100%
target three
metal.
or four, but I don't know whether or not it was just the way we handled them, but
Yeah, yeah. Look, there was a fair few in that scenario we did, but they never seemed to really cause many problems.
no.
Like the cards they were drawing was like, oh, okay, cool. But I think the key thing is then their attack value was so low.
Mm,
Like they might have been hitting 2 or 3 or 4 people, but they're only hitting for like ones and twos. So
mm,
without stacking that with like a poison or a brittle, it really wasn't that scary.
mm. No, that's really fair. The ruin machines.
Well, these can be anything from GG Easy if I'm just going in and tanking all of them Retaliate 5, or Rexus if they all constantly draw their Explode thing and destroy our whole team, right?
It
So,
really does come down to that one card because that one card actually wrecks us.
yeah.
And most recently, like I thought I was fine, and then it came up, and it's the fact that it hits you, and if it does hit you, they blow up. Is just gross.
Yeah.
Ah,
Look, I'd say low problematic just purely because they. Oh, I don't know. Is it enough? This is where I guess it's thinking, is one card in the monsters deck enough to make them like a problem? Uh, I guess it's so impactful that it kind of is.
I'd probably be looking at like I'd if a room was full of these and full of these, I'd be equally scared.
That's fair, and I think the next to the Beyblades, which is we talked about, like just fearing one or two of their cards coming up, and that's
Mm,
probably much the same thing.
mm.
Yeah,
And then we finish off with Shriek Fiends, one of the more unique characters, uh, monsters. We haven't seen them in a while, but they were the original. Oh no, we saw them in that Radiant one, right? Where we were trying to get the
yeah.
light, and they're fairly chunky in terms of health. And then of course their pull and just do damage. Just reminds me of an old MMORPG. You know, pull
And
everyone
they're
in,
immune to
and
poison,
they are.
which
They've
makes
got some
which
interesting immunities. I totally forgot about that with some of the
yeah.
creatures.
So yeah, these can be tricky. I think every time we've fought them, they've done things that have like just messed us up a little bit. They are really they wreck summons, right? Like pulling in and doing 2, 3 damage to everything is just a death sentence for summons.
And yeah, unlike Retaliate, which the Bone Shaper can prevent with a card, you can't really block that, right?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, different to the snow speakers that have the AoE pure damage, these things I think have the ability to, yeah, just be more annoying because they can pull you around. You can't get away from them, and I just seem to remember them being, yeah, just a bit harder to kill.
Mm.
I probably put them up if you were going to do that next to the Beyblades, in between them and the Night Demons. But I mean, it's much for muchness.
No, it means everything. Because now they look even scarier. Because they've just moved up above Raining Drake. And I like it.
That's
Okay.
it.
Got a cool list. Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how some of this evolves and changes. I foresee we eventually get more harrowing infestors, and we get better at killing them, and they're not as scary. I don't know what we'll ever do against archers. I think they will remain kings of Frosthaven. Yeah, and then everything else, I don't know. We'll probably see some shifting. We may even have another tier, but yeah.
Yeah, I see yeah. I don't think the Harrows will drop because they're always a nightmare. I think the Wave Throwers will drop as we realize that it was only like 2 scenarios that were pain in the ass.
And we just got
And
RNG'd,
pardon?
and we just got like RNG'd in that the scenario.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think a lot of the others. It'll be interesting when we do see. Yeah, like you said, we'll see more crabs. We'll see more demons. We haven't seen a lot of like the fire demons, the ice demons,
Or the
the
Chaos
living
Demons.
chaos demons, which we can't even remember. We haven't seen a lot of those, and so yeah, I think there's a few in there that I'm looking forward to seeing more of that have a few more unique kind of abilities,
Yeah.
and it'd be cool to see how that plays out and how that impacts our experience with them.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that. Stay tuned, and we will be back with some more.
Yeah, and if you've got any other things you want us to do a tier list for, like just chuck it in the comments, let us know because we're more than happy to. Even if we don't know anything about it, you want us to tier list your favorite game characters that we've never played or haven't heard of, by all means, throw it at us, and you can get the same ramblings, but without anything, not knowing anything about it.
Yeah. Well, that's it. See you later.
So yeah.
Bye.